The spin stone is the thicker of the two supplied stones, which has a blue coloured blotter. To help reduce the amount of dressing required and to keep the stone balanced, always fit the stone with the black line on the stone and the mark on the head aligned together. When located, the stone is secured using a nut. For the spin stone, the shoulder of the nut should be fitted first, so it fits inside the stone. Tighten the nut using the supplied box wrench and locking spanner. Tighten the nut in a clockwise direction. Fit the spin stone guard and secure using the two small thumb screws. For spin grinding, use the flexible coupler to drive the reels. Fit this into the reel drive motor as shown, and secure using a thumb screw and washer. The location of the lifting change on the load spreader bar is adjustable. Select the appropriate position for the cutting unit and ensure that the positions match each other. Unlock the stop button on the winch remote by twisting it to the right as shown. Lower and raise the winch cable by pressing the appropriate side of the rocker switch on the remote. Attach the lifting chains to an appropriate and secure fixing on the cutting unit. Always try and attach as near to the outside of the unit as possible. Raise the cutting unit by pressing the up switch on the remote. Lift the unit until it clears the back of the table and then push the unit onto the front of the machine. From the front of the machine, pull the cutting unit towards the mounting bar. When the front roller is positioned over the mounting brackets, lower the unit down using the hoist remote. Once the roller is in the bracket, secure the unit by fitting and tightening the clamps over the roller. The angle that the cutting unit is presented onto the machine is adjustable. To change the angle, unlock and rotate the mounting bar. As a general rule, smaller diameter reels require a steeper angle. Cutting units without rear roller brushes or scrapers can be lowered directly onto the table. If the unit does have brushes, they do not need to be removed. Instead, support the roller using the supplied bracket. Secure the rear of the cutting unit to the machine by using the rear roller clamp. Before making any adjustments, ensure that the mounting bar is squared and parallel. Make sure the fine adjusters on each end are set to 0 and that each side of the mounting bar is even. Here we can see the mounting bar being set to 2 on both sides. When the locations are even, lock off the mounting bar by tightening the kip levers. To remove any taper from the reel, you need to ensure that the reel is mounted squarely in relation to the grinding head. This is done by using a depth gauge to set the centre shaft the same distance from the head on each side of the reel. First, take the grinding head to one side of the reel and insert the depth probe. Align the probe and push it into the cutting unit so it is firmly against the centre shaft of the reel. Whilst holding the probe against the shaft, move the locking collar up the probe until it is flush with the probe support spacer. Once in position, tighten a thumb screw on the collar to lock it in place. Pull the probe from the reel and move the grinding head to the other side of the unit. Insert the probe against the centre shaft. If the reel is square, there will be no gaps between the probe and the centre shaft, and also the locking collar and support spacer. In this case, a gap is present between the locking collar and the spacer. Use the fine adjuster to move the unit away from the head until the gap is closed. Recheck the adjustment on the other side until the unit is square. To set the left-hand traverse stop, Move the head to the left-hand side of the reel. The stop should be set when the stone is halfway off of the reel. Tighten the screw to secure the traverse stop. Repeat the procedure for the right-hand side traverse stop. Any fine adjustment can be made by screwing the plunger on the traverse stop in or out. Fit the reel drive motor into the end of the reel using one of the supplied adapters. To start the grind, make sure the machine is in spin mode. Start the reel drive by pressing this button. Start the traverse by pressing this button. Engage the traverse clutch by moving the clutch lever to the left. Then start the grinding stone by pressing this button. Feed in the grinding head until contact is made with the reel. The reel speed can be adjusted to ensure an even grind using this knob. The machine is supplied with a diamond dresser to dress the stone when needed. Fit and tighten the dresser block to the table and remove the protective cap. With the grinding stone running, gently feed in the stone towards the dresser. When contact is made, pass the stone across the dresser. Add feed until the stone is being dressed evenly. To remove the spin stone, first remove the guard by removing the 2 thumb screws. Then remove the retaining nut using the box wrench and spanner. The stone can then be removed. During manufacture, the relief stone is produced with a taper. This is to allow the stone to follow the helix angle of the reel. It is essential that the stone is fitted in the correct direction in relation to the helix angle of the reel being ground. There is an indicator on the blotter as to which way round the stone should be. When the correct side of the stone has been selected, fit the plastic spacer into the centre of the stone. The stone will now fit snugly onto the stone shaft. The stone is secured using a nut. For the relief stone, the shoulder of the nut should be facing outwards, away from the stone. Tighten the nut using the supplied box wrench and locking spanner. Tighten the nut in a clockwise direction. Two blade rests are supplied with the machine. You should select the blade rest which is angled in the same direction as the helix of the reel you are going to grind. The blade rest is fitted into the slot on the relief stone guard. When fitted, the rest can be adjusted to compensate for wear of the stone. When in position, the rest is secured by tightening the bolt with the supplied 10mm spanner. When fitting the relief stone guard, make sure that the blade rest support follower is fitted in between the actuator head and the lower cover support post. The centre bearing is then located over the shoulder of the stone retaining nut. The guard is then secured using the 2 thumb screws. To set the machine to the desired relief angle, first select the required angle finder. 3 angle finders are supplied with the machine: 20 degrees, 30 degrees and 45 degrees. For this unit, we require the 30-degree angle finder. Fit the selected angle finder into the grooved slot just inside the stone guard. The angle finder should be fitted with the step side facing down. To set the angle of relief, firstly lower the reel blade onto the blade rest. Pull the angle finder out from the head until the tip of the reel blade locates into the step on the bottom of the angle finder. While holding the angle finder against the reel blade, turn the blade rest adjusting knob until the top of the angle finder is parallel with the back of the reel blade. When these match, the relief angle is set. For relief grinding, the reel drive motor should be fitted with the clutch drive assembly. Fit the clutch assembly as shown, making sure the stud on the reel motor fits into the locating hole and the clutch mounting plate. Align the keyway of the drive shaft with the reel motor and slide in. Secure the assembly by fitting a thumb screw and washer. Connect the reel motor to the cutting unit using any required drive adapter. Tighten the kip levers to secure the motor in position. The tension on the clutch can be adjusted. Turn the clutch handwheel clockwise for more tension or anti-clockwise for less. Before setting up, select Relief Mode on the control panel switch and also engage the reel drive. The setup of the traverse stops in relief mode is vitally important. To aid the setup, a light on the control panel and also one on the grinding head show the exact point at which the grinding head will change direction. The right hand side traverse stop should be set so that the grindstone comes off of the end of the reel, but the reel remains supported by the blade rest. At this point, the grinding head should be locked off by engaging the traverse clutch, and the traverse stop set against the plunger on the grinding head. Adjust the traverse stop inwards until the light on the control panel extinguishes. This is the point at which the head will not only stop, but also allow the reel to index to the next blade. The left-hand side traverse stop should be set so that the grinding stone goes right to the end of the reel blade, but making sure that the reel blade is still supported by the blade rest. When this is achieved, lock off the grinding head using the traverse clutch and set the left-hand traverse stop and adjust until the light on the control panel illuminates. When the traverse stops have been set, always check their positions by completing a dry run, by running the machine but without the grindstone running. Push the button to start the traverse and engage the traverse clutch. Check that the positions of the traverse stops are correct. Any fine adjustment can be made by adjusting the plunger and the traverse stops. When the traverse stops are set correctly, the grind motor can be switched on. The relief grind will now begin. Apply feed using the feed screw until the desired amount of relief is achieved.